All cities grow and evolve. Jersey City is a prime example of this evolution, starting with the Gold Coast. Land that heretofore was used for industrial or outmoded transportation technologies are now being redeveloped for new uses. Surface parking lots are being redeveloped as residential, offices, and mixed-use buildings. A current example of the conversion of industrial to mixed and multiple use is Liberty Harbor North. Jersey City has been blessed with continuous growth these past 25 or more years. With growth, more and more cars invade the grid of the city, which has limited capacity. At the same time, transit, both light rail and path, as well as buses, are serving even greater numbers of riders, creating options to the use of the private automobile. New sidewalks and pedestrian paths are necessary in order to make the city more walkable. As the city grows, new parks and plazas will be required to enhance the quality of life in the city. All remaining land that is a residue of the older industrial city must be reviewed for its future use. From old railroad rights-of-way to the land under and adjacent to the freeways. These sites can be cleaned and redeveloped to improve the functionality of the infrastructure, enhance the character of the city, and contribute positively to its fiscal impact. As an example, this railroad track is scheduled to be removed and demolished. This site will become a prime redevelopment opportunity. One of the great underutilized resources in the city is the elevated railroad right-of-way called the Embankment that is parallel to 6th Street. It is approximately 86 feet wide at the top and extends over 8 blocks. These images portray the first 4 blocks in the summer. This is a shot looking east, and the final image is from the top. This potentially is one of the most challenging and exciting sites to plan and design, particularly when considering it as a part of a greater greenway, a transit corridor, and a park that could connect Journal Square with the Gold Coast. There are 2 predominant examples of a similar right-of-way. This elevated train right-of-way has been adaptively reused for mixed use, park and retail, and like Jersey City, has a parallel street. The street that is parallel has a transitway at grade. Called the Promenade Plantée, this abandoned right-of-way has been transformed as a walkway and a park. The bridges between the embankment are shown here. Housing units front directly onto this linear park. The High Line in New York City is the newest example of the opportunity to convert from an old rail line into a new linear park with activity nodes. These are some of the images from the award-winning landscape plan. The Jersey City embankments are located within the red rectangle shown on this map. There are 6 rectangles formed by rusticated walls, with the extension to the west on abutments shown by the arrow. The bridges over the street have been removed, but the imposing rusticated stone walls remain as a legacy of the past. On the top is a flat, open, wide swatch of land that is experiencing vegetative succession. The embankment has been cited as a link along the East Coast Greenway. The facts surrounding the East Coast Greenway is that it'll be 2,600 miles from Maine to Key West, Florida. And Jersey City is on the alignment as the proposed critical link on the East Coast Greenway. Battery Park is slated for the proposed greenway to Manhattan, with ferries leaving from multiple locations, including the Jersey City Greenway. On the embankment, the Jersey City Greenway is not a spur route. It is a proposed route. This diagram indicates the opportunity for this new greenway. A landscape plan with small bridges connecting each embankment and 2 entrances have been developed by the Friends of the Embankment, with an estimated price tag of $10 to $12 million, not including the cost of the land. This land is zoned for 1- and 2-family homes. A site plan was prepared and presented to the Planning Board for approval, but was denied, but later approved by the courts. This scheme called for a total of 358 units. To make the project functional, the walls of the embankment and the infill inside the walls would have to be removed to allow accessibility to the units on grade. The potential for this site as a greenway, as well as a project of world-class scale, would forever be eliminated if this scheme was actually built. But this is what the current zoning calls for and would allow. We have 8 goals for the embankment. The first is the preservation of the walls. The second is the cleanup of the destructive vegetation currently on the top. 3, to improve the streetscape along the base of the embankments. 4th, to develop 75% of the top surface as passive open space, addressing the Jersey City deficit in open space. 5, to accommodate the East Coast Greenway. 6, to provide this to the city free of cost and free of maintenance costs. 7, to develop 25% of the surface for housing that would be designed by top-named architects. And 8, to be allowed sufficient housing and parking to justify giving $40 to $50 million in park and greenway improvements to the city and ensuring its maintenance in perpetuity. In addition to the greenway, Conrail owns additional parcels to the west and are in negotiation with Steve Hyman to joint venture development these lands. These parcels are outlined in red. Parcel A is 12.2 acres and Parcel B is 12.1 acres. And with the embankment, it makes a holding of 30.8 acres of land. This current aerial photograph portrays the location of the embankment, the underutilized parcels, and the Bergen Arches. This is the close-up of the area that shows the opportunity for a green linkage with the East Coast Greenway along the Conrail property and then linking to the Bergen Arches. In addition to the opportunities generated by the embankment and the area under the adjacent freeway, there is other factors that will impact the plans for this area. The City of Jersey City has received a Smart Growth grant for the preparation of a vision plan for Journal Square. The initial focus of the Smart Growth Award is to advance a parking and mobility solution for Journal Square as it grows and redevelops. Journal Square is one of the great urban spaces in New Jersey and is slated for continued revitalization. Currently, a new redevelopment plan is proposing a mixed-use development including 2 high-rise buildings, one reaching 60 stories. Currently, the path, shown in the blue, is one of the primary transit servers to Journal Square. The Port Authority is planning significant improvements to the trains and the stations. The path connects to the waterfront and to the Hudson-Bergen light rail line, shown in the yellow line, at Exchange Place. The infrastructure investment in the Hudson-Bergen light rail, shown in yellow, has been instrumental in promoting new development. Historically, development follows infrastructure investment, as shown here in San Diego and in Jersey City. One of the primary reasons to extend transit is to maximize the use of land by eliminating the cost and the negative impact of surface parking and reducing the traffic impact on city streets. Imagine a city that is more pedestrian-oriented and more intensively built out, and where less of the valuable land is used for parking and the city street. Creating parking facilities connected by transit to intercept vehicles before they enter the city has been a dream of urbanists for years, and thereby freeing up land for more parks and squares and mixed-use development. This is being considered by the city of Jersey City now, and the first phase of this could actually happen in Jersey City, solving the parking problem in both downtown and Journal Square. In addition to the path, new linkages are recommended to connect Journal Square to the Gold Coast using the light rail. This linkage is shown on the yellow and the black dotted lines. This alignment would use either the top of the embankment or be on grade on 6th Street and connect to Journal Square and beyond on an unused right-of-way that currently exists. A second option would connect from the corner of Hoboken and Jersey City and travel on an abandoned right-of-way along the Bergen Arches and connect to 50 Next at the Secaucus Junction. This option would be more expensive, but still feasible as an alignment. Each alignment has its advantages and disadvantages. Given these options, how does Jersey City best benefit, and how does the embankment and the related Conrail properties contribute to the future of the city, the provision of the Greenway, and for the parking intercept? For Journal Square to truly reach its potential, an innovative solution for parking and pedestrian movement is absolutely required. By utilizing the land adjacent to and with direct access from the turnpike, an extraordinary mixed-use parking intercept facility could be built. Then, by extending the light rail along 6th Street to Journal Square, with a stop at the new mixed-use parking facility, with the station utilizing an existing service stop on the path line, several goals could be achieved. First, the highest utilization of land in a development potential in both downtown and Journal Square, by limiting parking on every site. By reducing the current vehicular traffic on city streets, a more convenient, intense, sustainable green, pedestrian, urban environment could be achieved, setting Jersey City apart as one of the most sustainable cities in the United States. The mixed-use parking facility can accommodate up to 10,000 cars, with direct access from the turnpike. It can also accommodate the Greenway, connecting from the embankment to the Bergen Arches. Vehicles will have direct access from the turnpike ramps onto a multi-level garage, eliminating the need for cars to enter the city streets. The Greenway could allow walking and bicycling from the mixed-use parking facility to the Gold Coast and the waterfront. Our plan would restore the bridges to make the pedestrian experience continuous across the entire street. It recommends a new light rail line on grade at 6th Street and improved streetscape along 6th Street. Our plan includes a new mixed-use parking intercept facility as a joint venture between Conrail and Steve Hyman. The plan ideally would be extended, although this is out of the specific embankment areas, to the river, terminating in a ferry connection to Battery Park City in New York City. At the ferry landing, perhaps there could be an additional signature high-rise building. Whether or not the high-rise on the river is developed, the potential for a signature park on the embankment and an intercept mixed-use parking facility is a reality. The extension of the light rail with connections to the existing light rail is a positive option. With an additional station on the path, both Journal Square and the downtown of Jersey City in general would benefit. Our proposal for the embankment would look like this. The embankment is approximately 5.6 acres, of which 75% will be open spaces. That includes a continuous jogging and bike trail along one edge, and a continuous serpentine pedestrian walkway through a series of landscape parks and gardens. Block 1 contains one of the residential buildings, 140 parking spaces enclosed within the embankment, a water feature and a natural pond, and one of the grand entrances. Block 2 contains a community garden with a gardening gazebo, a children's nature park, and one of the 4 residential buildings. Block 3 and 4 are combined with a continuous bridge to create an 860-foot linear park. This will be the Great Lawn of the Embankment. The center of this lawn and another entrance aligns with Hamilton Park. These blocks also contain a community center and a police precinct. Block 5 also contains one of the residential buildings. In this block, pedestrian path passes through a grove of trees with sitting areas. And as you can see, each block has a different landscape feature. Block 6 contained a fitness park and a dog run, along with one of the residential buildings. Block 7 is a non-elevated embankment containing a park at grade with access to the upper greenway, along with the 5th residential building. All told, out of the 5.6 acres of the embankment, 4.2 acres are parks, lawns, gardens, and walkways, which is 75% of the surface area. A project of world scale can be created, provided that we are allowed to develop 25% of the surface of the embankment and all the Conrail parcels. The housing and mixed-use parking facility would be designed by top-named architects. And to be allowed significant housing and other mixed uses to justify giving an estimated $40 to $50 million park and greenway to the city that is maintained in perpetuity. This project can be more than preserving the embankment for a park. In its totality, it is a key to the future of Journal Square and the Gold Coast of Jersey City.